The police chief, who was widely criticized for his handling of the school shooting in the U.S. state of Texas in May, has been dismissed from his job. The school board voted unanimously to sack Pete Arredondo, and 19 children as well as 2 teachers died in the attack at Rab Elementary School in Uvalde. The decision was met by applause from the family members. His lawyer said in a written statement that he had been unaware anyone was inside the classrooms with the shooter.
We have just been told that Mr. Arredondo is not going to be here because he doesn't feel safe. And I'm going to sit here and say that nobody has threatened him. That's all I'm going to say on that. So for him to not be here and actually to face the consequences to his actions, do not take this into closed sessions. We deserve to hear. Our babies are dead. Our teachers are dead. Our parents are dead. The least y'all can do is show us the respect to do this in the public.
If it was one of your children, heads would be rolling right now. But because it's not, you don't care. You are not going to sweep this under the rug. You're not. All of you are accountable.
I have messages for Pete Arredondo and all the law enforcement that were there that day. Turn in your badge and step down. You don't deserve to wear one.
Yeah.
We reconvene from closed session for action relevant to items covered during closed session and other items listed. For a discussion and possible action regarding termination for good cause as recommended by the superintendent of the non-certified contract, Pete Arredondo.
For more on this, we can cross live to speak to Arise U.S. correspondent Rotimi Kade. Thanks for joining us, Rotimi. This Uvalde school board, they voted unanimously to sack Pete Arredondo. Now, this must come as no surprise, considering the police's bungled response and all the footage that we had seen splashed on TV and social media.
Well, it's been a long time coming because a lot of people wanted justice even much earlier than this. But the police chief has been under a lot of scrutiny way before this time when the school board are having a meeting. But we also understand that a lot of officers are also on false leave. And this is not the last thing we're going to hear from the Uvalde incident. We understand that parents and well-wishers are asking for more punitive measures to be passed on to people, to the officers who are responsible for allowing the 18-year-old to actually have his way, killing over 19 students and 2 teachers on that particular day. So what we're going to be seeing in the next coming weeks or months would be accountability on those on the part of the people, on the part of the police officers who should have taken action but refused to do so.
So Pete Arredondo is sacked, but the families are still demanding answers in terms of the police response. Are they likely to get answers to their questions?
Well, I think in no distant time they will be able to get answers because right now the tensions are really high. It's almost at a boiling point. Parents really wanted to know exactly what happened, even though they know that what has happened is irreversible. However, they want justice, and one of the ways of getting justice is making sure that the officers are put on trial. And that's exactly what we're hearing, that most likely they will not just be sacked, but also we'll see prosecution going on to ensure that some of the parents actually get justice. That's number one. Number two, we're also looking at the possibility of, getting the schools to go virtually. Many parents have complained for the survivals of that particular student. Many students don't want to go back. Many pupils don't want to go back to classrooms because of the trauma. So most likely there could be some sort of compensation that will be given to parents. Number three is that they Texas police superintendent and the state as a whole may likely have to do something about it to ensure that, most of the students actually go through some sort of traumatic, classes in a way that will help them in their future endeavors.
Rotimi, we also know major gun legislation was recently passed, but by Congress, I should say. But do you think the issue is still a concern for voters ahead of the midterm?
Well, yes, you're right. Just some months ago, shortly after the Uvalde school incident, Congress actually passed a bipartisan bill both from the House of Representatives and the Senate, and awaits President Biden's ascension to that particular bill, which most likely will trigger new ways of protecting students and ensuring that incidents like this do not occur frequently in schools across the United States. However, it's a top issue in the midterm elections as we approach November. Many people definitely will also want to see the responses from the two parties, Republicans and Democrats. Obviously, Democrats are at the advantage right now because their emphasis has always been on curbing gun proliferations in the country. And this particular bill obviously focuses on young gun buyers, on how to improve background checks and etc. So obviously is a top issue, and I know that Democrats, especially in Texas, which of course is closely contested, it could swing either way come November, will be one of the major topics that will be looked into.
Now, Rotimi, Peter Arredondo's lawyers called him a courageous officer, and they said his firing is an unconstitutional public lynching. They also said their client, who has led the small police force since 2020, did not think that he was the official in charge at the time of the attack. Now, what does this say about the country's police system, or should I say Texas police system, if the official in charge doesn't know he's in charge? And is Pete likely to appeal his sack?
This 17-page report actually came just before the meeting that was held yesterday. And the defense lawyer actually came to the defense of Peter Arredondo, saying that Peter Arredondo has warned the Uvalde district, a year before now that there are potential security threats within and without the district, and nobody actually gave him any support. So that his decision to actually pause for over 1 hour before state troopers actually came in to help in killing the shooter was the best decision. But I don't really know how that will really go on. Those are just excuses that has been made by the defense team of Arredondo. There's likelihood that there could be an appeal, but the appeal obviously may not really hold a lot of water potentially at this time when he's no longer having his job. So we're going to be looking at some of the developments that may ensue even after this.
Well, Rotimi Kade, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and, of course, for your analysis.